Adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mace Landing. At this time, I'm going to have an opening prayer, and after the opening prayer, I'd like a moment of silence. We've had a few local dignitaries over the past few weeks pass in the area, and I'd like a moment of silence for Mayor Brown of Mullica, a former freeholder, Joe McDevitt, and we also had Wally Kazig, who's heavily involved in our veterans organization. Almighty God, we ask thee to grant us the wisdom to walk in thy light and the courage to accept the responsibilities placed upon us. Guide us by thy truth, uphold us by thy power, and grant that thy presence may ever be within us. Amen. And a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll please, salute the flag. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Here.
Bertino.
Here.
Horsey.
Present.
Days.
Here.
Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Gatto.
Here.
Risley.
Here.
And Kern.
Here. Commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from December 15th, 2020. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the December 15, 2020 minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a moment or a motion and a second. Any comments from the freeholders? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I would like to remind everyone that would like to speak during the public comments, please type yes in the question and answer box. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please state your name and town you reside. We'll probably mention this a couple times in case some people come on late during the meeting. Okay, is Pat Diamond here for our update?
Yeah. Good afternoon, Commissioner.
Good afternoon.
Freeholder briefing today, February 2nd. I had canceled this meeting actually for 6, but when I saw it was 4, I was jumped back from our vaccination site to be able to make it. So a few highlights of what's going on in our county. Cumulative Atlantic County-wide positive COVID-19 cases to date are 19,518, up from the 15,577 reported to you on January 19th. Fortunately, close to 7,600 are being reported as being cleared from isolation. And what we are noticing about these cases, and we're working closely with our epidemiologists who we brought on to deal specifically with COVID, that a lot of the activities associated with the cases are people that actually are working, that working age group. Not that they, pick it up at work, but it's that age group through various activities outside or within group gatherings, social gatherings, or appear to be being picked up. We are also reporting, unfortunately, 468 deaths. And again, most if not all of these patients had underlying conditions, which makes it difficult for them to recover. Most of our cases are mild to moderate. However, we can't miss continued reinforcement that this disease can be extremely serious and not to be taken lightly, especially with those individuals with underlying health conditions and those that are elderly. We continue to see an increase in hospitalizations. However, the trend of COVID positive cases in hospitals in the southern region compared to Monday, January 25th, has actually decreased by 97 cases or 13%. And when compared to the number of hospitalizations to Friday, January 29th, they've actually decreased by 43 or 6%, which is a good thing. Now, the level of influenza still continues to be low in our county and across the state, which is very unusual for February, this time of year. However, it's thought to be due to those precautions that we're taking to prevent COVID. Daily updates continue to be provided on our website at aclink.org. And as far as testing information, it appears on our website as well. We continue to offer testing in our drive-through in Northfield behind the Public Works Yard. However, on Tuesday, it had to be canceled due to inclement weather, and those appointments will all be honored this Thursday where it will be opened. Testing continues at the Galloway Library on Jimmy Meeks Road and at St. Vincent de Paul Church on Harding Highway in Mays Landing. And for a list of all testing sites throughout the county and how to schedule an appointment or whether there's a walk-up option, you can just go to our website at aclink.org. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about vaccination. The Atlantic County Division of Public Health has administered over 4,000 first doses and 500 second doses at our Atlantic Cape Community College setting and also here at Stillwater at 201 South Shore Road. We will be finishing up at the Atlantic Cape Community College site soon. This Friday, our first dose clinic will be completed, and we will be completing second doses in the next few weeks. We will then move our vaccinator resources to the Atlantic City Convention Center mega site, which opened to the public on January 22nd. The site has been closed for the past 2 days, as have all the mega sites in the state due to the weather. They will resume operations tomorrow and will catch up on those Monday and Tuesday canceled vaccinations this Thursday and Friday. We continue to use our Medical Reserve Corps volunteer vaccinators until public health staff are freed up from the Atlantic Cape Community College site. Fortunately, our site at the community college was actually able to open yesterday, where close to 400 people received their first doses of vaccine. Now, as far as Atlantic County residents, the number of those that have been vaccinated, and I thought you would find this of interest. It's not at our site, but it's all sites providing vaccination throughout the state. Those who indicate that they're an Atlantic County resident. 20,396 residents have received first doses. 4,206 have received second doses. So that arrow is going, quickly up in the right direction with more and more increases to come. In addition, our mega sites hours of operation will now be 12 hours a day starting Wednesday, 7 days a week. And in addition to information on our website, the state has also provided, which we include on our website, a phone number if anyone has any difficulties registering for a vaccination at the mega site. And that phone number is 855-568-0545. And that call center is open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And again, that's for anyone that has difficulty accessing a computer, that number is available and people can call from 8 to 8 p.m. Now I'm open for any questions that anyone has.
And I have one question before we start. And I don't know if you have this number, saying we had enough vaccines as we needed at the mega site. How many people can you get through there in one day?
Okay, it's designed to have between 20 to 25 vaccinators, at its peak, which is 12 hours a day, and that's 10 hours of vaccination. Now we'll start with primary doses. And then ultimately, say within a few weeks, if vaccine is available, the plan is to have 1,200 first doses and 1,200 second doses. So it would be, close to 2,400 individuals vaccines to be administered with a combination of first and second doses. So that is the plan, as with all mega sites.
Thank you, Pat. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Pat?
I have a question, please.
Yes, Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. Pat, it's getting to be planting season, and I wonder if you have a plan in place for the migrant workers who are going to be coming to Atlantic County.
Migrant work
Testing.
The testing of the federally qualified health centers, that contract was given to Southern Jersey Family Medical Center. So any plans for testing will be handled through the State Department of Health and the Federally Qualified Health Center. Ocean County has their Federally Qualified Health Center handling that, same as Gloucester and Camden. So those arrangements are made between that center and the state, but I'm sure there's plans in place, and a lot has been learned from last year as far as mobile testing and follow-up. So that would be initiated probably in May or June, first starting in Cumberland County and then migrating into Atlantic.
Okay, and Chairwoman, I have one more question, please.
Okay.
Is it possible to coordinate vaccinations for our senior food distribution recipients? Seems like that would be a good partnership to get target demographic seniors who we visit on a regular basis anyway.
We have brought that question up to the mega site operators as far as that population, those individuals that may not be able to access the mega site so readily. So that has been posed to them. But the mega site right now is open, and people that are eligible to vaccinate 65 years of age or older, those with underlying health conditions, police, fire, healthcare workers. So there's a lot of individuals that are eligible for vaccination. And I think everybody just has to keep in mind that this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. And as this unfolds, the immense number of vaccinations that need to be administered to cover not only this phase 1A and part of 1B population, but all the adult population, and then ultimately migrating to children as well. It's going to be something that we've never seen the likes of. So again, to keep in mind that, we'll continue to see it roll out and to be sustained for a while.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Madam Chair.
Yep. Commissioner Corsi?
Yeah, Madam Chair, if I may, to Pat. Pat, can you answer me, if you can, this mega site opened at the convention center you indicated. Do you have any idea how many people so far have been through there? And has anyone been turned around or denied at this time? Because I know Atlantic Care was still doing some. I believe Atlantic Cape Community College was doing some. Family Medical, I believe it's called, South Jersey Federal. They were doing some. So my question really becomes, since the mega site opened, how many people, if you know, have been vaccinated, and have they turned anyone away because of no dosage?
Well, everything is by appointment. Okay. So they don't make an appointment until, unless they have the vaccine. They started out with 1,000 doses, and then they picked up, and their plan was to do 3,000 doses this week. And their weeks go from like Wednesday to Tuesday. Vaccine arrives Tuesday, it has to thaw. So the next 7 days are increasing. So I would say approximately, 3,000 at that mega site. However, they had to cancel the last 2 days, but they will pick that up on Thursday and Friday. Now, our site, I had mentioned, was 4,000, but we began the Christmas week. So we've been able to vaccinate more, so we've been in business more. And again, we will fold our resources into that site. But you have to keep in mind that the federally qualified health centers, some of them are providing vaccinations. The ShopRites are providing vaccinations. We have a pharmacy in Hamilton providing vaccinations. And our residents of Atlantic County are also received in other vaccination sites throughout the state, not just Atlantic County. So looking at the number of people within our county that have been vaccinated, that's why I had brought up it's close to 25 doses being administered to our residents.
Thank you so much. So it's my understanding that they will be back up tomorrow.
They're going to be back up tomorrow, and they're going to play catch up on Thursday and Friday. And that's when they're going to be moving to that 12 hours to make sure that they capture everything. And their plan is to each week to increase the number of vaccines that they get. And it's all depending on the vaccine allocation that's received from the state. But the plan is to increase it substantially. So, that number of doses, can be administered.
Madam Chair, I have one more question for Pat. One of the biggest concerns and questions we have been getting every time they open up this so-called go online to register. Let's say the other day was Tuesday at 3 o'clock. By the time the people got on there, it was already packed. Well, nobody getting through. I'm hoping as time go on, that gets a little bit better for the second time in a row.
Right.
Been able to get on there, and those who were lucky to get on there could not believe it. But it seems to be a disconnect in some areas. I know they're tweaking a lot of stuff, but that seems to be the biggest concern I'm getting on our end, that people
Yeah.
can't get in, and it's frustrating because I
It
know
is.
5 senior citizens near me are begging. They have tried everything to get in, trying to get a needle, and cannot get through.
Yeah, I hear you, Commissioner, and that is a concern. It's a Atlantic Care scheduling system that they have had up and running for a while, so they were very familiar with it. They first utilized it internally with their employees, and then they rolled it out to the public. But the crashing of that system and other systems throughout the state is just because of the really, the demand is so high. People really are just trolling websites looking for vaccine, and anyone in the state is eligible, as our residents are accepted in other states as well. So hopefully that will subside once vaccine more supply comes in. But if the number that I had mentioned, that 855-568-0545, that number is there to assist everyone with trying to get a vaccination, and that is manned from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week, and that was just set up last week. So hopefully that will be of some assistance, and hopefully we'll see some relief in the next few weeks when the supply increases, and there won't be such angst out there to get one.
Madam Chair.
Any other commissioner comments or questions?
Yes,
Commissioner Gatto?
Thank you. Pat, just to piggyback off of Commissioner Coursey's comment, I did want to raise the issue with the Atlantic Care site in an attempt to get a appointment. Last Tuesday, I had 3 screens open trying to get appointment slots for my elders, and just was doing the same thing today because they opened up, looked like about 1,100 slots today, and was unsuccessful again. I'm just wondering if maybe there's a way to take some feedback to Atlantic Care.
Sure.
They've used this system before, but I wonder if it makes sense for people who have registered through their site to simply push out an appointment day and time and say, this is when you're scheduled. If it doesn't work for you, opt out of it, so that people aren't sitting. I mean, and again, to echo Commissioner Coursey's comments, I mean, I know people who were like waiting with bated breath at their computer screens for hours trying to get an appointment, and then see that they're 45,000 in line. I just feel like there's got to be some kind of a better way. And to me, if they're already registered, why not push an appointment out to them and have them try to make it, rather than having to continually every Tuesday at 3 o'clock try to game the system essentially to get a spot. That would just be some feedback I would offer.
Okay, just so that I understand, to schedule an appointment in the future, not this week or next week, but.
Yeah, just push out a date and time and say you're scheduled. If we're registered through their website, here's your time slot. If you can make it, come. If you can't, click a button to opt out of it, and we'll give that slot to somebody else.
Well, I'll certainly bring up that suggestion to Atlantic Care.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Otherwise, Pat, just hearing great comments from people who are attending the site and getting their shots. And again, another top-notch operation there. So kudos to your team.
Thank you. I'll let them know.
Madam Chairwoman?
Yep, Commissioner Ballas?
Yeah, first, Pat, I want to again thank you and your staff for the incredible job you're doing to try to protect us here in Atlantic County, and to be upfront with the information as far as COVID vaccinations and locations. I guess to kind of follow up on Commissioner Coursey and Commissioner Gatto, there's still some confusion, and forget the the efforts to try to get the vaccination. A lot of residents were under the impression that once they registered on the state site, they would have received some kind of notification from that site that they can now schedule their appointment. I do know some people who actually have shared they received an email that they were now able to go ahead and schedule their vaccinations. Is the Atlantic Care site completely separate from the state vaccination site?
Yes. Most of your vaccination sites throughout the state are not using that site, not using the New Jersey site. There was some, glitches with it. And when we had vaccine, including ourselves, we went ahead and utilized our own appointment scheduling system to get it out there. And, we didn't want to delay it. We had the vaccine. So, what happened was while they were waiting for the New Jersey site to get up and running, they kind of ironed out the kinks of their own system. And then there continues to be some issues with that New Jersey vaccination system. So unfortunately, they pre-register and it tells them, okay, now you're eligible, you know, and these are the sites that are connected to this NJVSS site. However, it doesn't include the other sites within the state. So they really need to continue to look. Again, that site only tells them, okay, you're eligible now, and here you can look for an appointment at these locations. But quite often, more than not, there's really no appointments available. But then you do need to go out and to take a look at that COVID-19 vaccination site to see all inclusively all the other sites that are on there. Say the Fairlawn Health Center sites or the ShopRite sites or what have you.
And thank you, because I know there are people that were still waiting for notification from the state telling them, you know, just go ahead and, you know, scramble and try to get any, you know, location you can.
Right.
And secondly, how is Atlantic Care or the county handling, you know, people who don't show up for their appointments to guarantee, to ensure that, you know, we're not wasting any vaccination doses? Is there a waiting list? You know, I obviously with the shortage here in the county, I don't want to hear about, you know, any vaccinations being thrown away or expiring. So
No, there's very, very few people that don't show up for a vaccine at this time. Occasionally there will be, say, a couple of doses that are remaining from a vial. And this vaccine is very sensitive. As soon as you open a vial, you only have a certain period of time to utilize it. And on occasion, someone meets the criteria and has contacted you or you know, or somebody mentions it at a site, then it's administered. It's given to those that fall within that category, but for the most part, it goes very readily. There's very few missed appointments.
thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Days. Do I have any other comments from any of the commissioners or questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Bertino.
Thank you. Pat, just a couple of quick questions. One, the pharmacy that you were alluding to has been out of vaccine for over 2.5 weeks. They keep asking me, who do I call to try to get the supply? That's another question I have for you. Is there a phone number or someone that the members of the public can contact if they feel like they're not getting through their normal process? They're not getting the answer they need to hear, I guess. Do we have a phone number we can give them that they can contact them directly?
I did talk to that pharmacy. I did put them in contact with the Vax Operations call. You know, they were vaccinating and they indicated that they were not able to receive vaccine. There is a 1 o'clock call that gives conversations with the State Department of Health, and allocations can be requested. And I have directed them to get onto that call and to make contact with them so they have that information. As far as anyone that's receiving or not clear as far as where to get a vaccination or as far as even the appointment process, I just do suggest the resident of the county, the person, don't call that 855-568-0545. But any provider that is not able to get vaccine and has been designated as a COVID-19 vaccine provider, they can go on that 1 o'clock vaccinator call, and they can access it via that COVID-19 website. But I will get that back out to them if they're still having difficulties. But I heard them on the call, and they just need to continue to ask for vaccine.
Yeah, I'm sure they're fine on the technology and getting the call and doing what they need to do. How about for the average person that can't seem to get connected any place and they want to, I don't want them calling your office because they've asked me for your number and I didn't give it to them. But you're going to have everybody yelling at you, why is it taking so long to get vaccines? Is there something at the state level other than the website for the providers that can contact them, or is the state hiding like normal when it comes to being a big problem that they don't have an answer for?
Well, they can actually call that 855-568-0545 number and express their concern. But right now it's just that the demand, you know, is so great. The supply is not able to keep up, and I'm just hoping that supply will, you know, continue to increase. I mean, it's not been easy, and I do feel for a lot of people that even that we have to say, no, we would love to give you a vaccine, and yes, you are eligible, but right now our supply is limited. And we just tell them to continue to go on, say the state website or that phone call, see if they can register at the mega site. It's not easy, but people do get in. And as I was exiting the mega site, I was happy to report, because that's, hosts everyone throughout the state, that when I had left, and it was last Saturday morning, there was about 5 people that I had said, geez, where are you from? And they were all Atlantic County residents. So that was good to hear.
Pat, one more question. The allocation amount for the Atlantic County hasn't changed. And do you have any indication that in the next couple of weeks it may increase?
At the mega site, it is supposed to increase, but our allocation, we are now going to be directing our resources to support that mega site, because you have to keep in mind it's 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So they need vaccinators. They have the National Guard there helping with supply and being runners, and they have Atlantic Care's pharmacy managing the vaccine itself. And they have people, working with the registration system. But our site at the Atlantic Cape Community College, we won't be receiving any more vaccine to administer first doses. That last clinic will be this Friday, and I believe all the appointments are filled. We'll continue with second doses, and then we'll be moving to the mega site. They will continue to get increased doses.
Do I have any other commissioner questions, comments?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Ballas?
Thank you. So, Pat, just a couple questions, and I think you just answered the one I was going to ask, whether the county is going to continue to request and receive vaccine, but it appears we're not. So it almost seems as though that having a mega site in our county is going to be a disadvantage to our residents instead of an advantage, because no one can get on, because this statewide system basically bogs it down. If we are able to request more, is there any way we can prioritize some of our county employees that are essential workers, that are not medical, police, or EMS or fire?
We have follow the State Department of Health. The governor follows the CDC phases, so we adhere to that. Those phases, we can't go outside of it. So if those individuals fall into that category, they are eligible to make an appointment. So if that answers your question. The thing is with this vaccine, is you have to be very cautious as far as how to handle it. So it's like as far as our flu vaccine, how we could operate here or there or whatever, and on occasion we actually would go out to schools to administer. You really have to be cautious with how it's handled, and actually even vibrating it, state cautions. So it's best to have it at a central location right now, okay, where people can go and get the shot.
I totally understand that, but I know in other counties they are prioritizing certain employees, even though they don't meet the certain guidelines, especially if there's vaccine that's left over at the end of the day for missed appointments or whatever, that would essentially go to waste. If they're on call and can just be called in and vaccinated, that would be awesome. But there are people, especially in your ShopRites and other pharmacies, that are not in them categories, that are getting vaccinated. I've known some that are 18, 19 years old with no medical condition that have gotten vaccinated.
Well, that's unfortunate, because the vaccination program is not for that age group, because that age group, as I announce all the time, the people that have unfortunately succumb to this disease are underlying conditions and are elderly. So that is unfortunate. It is an honored system. And we were told that it was an honored system from the get-go. It's a self-reported underlying health condition. We don't challenge it. We don't exclude residencies, but we do have a pretty good, as far as the 1 or 2 doses or 3 doses that may be left over from a vial, if we do come across someone and it happens to be within our an employee that meets those conditions and we have that dose, we will administer it. So
Okay, yeah.
no dose is ever wasted.
Okay, yeah, that's the one main thing that I need, I want to make sure that happens.
Right.
Especially when we have, welfare employees that are dealing
Yeah.
with people that are walking in off the streets every single day. Their health is important.
Yes.
Even if you're not in that category.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And the other is just a, Commissioner, is that your Gloucester County, and just to provide some way background in Burlington County, I mean, they pretty much also took their resources and are merging with the mega site. Because again, this is going to be a marathon. And so they have merged their resources and they're operating within their mega sites in Gloucester and Burlington.
So is it the county health department's choice to not request vaccine because we have a mega site and we're going to be dedicating our resources there, or is that a state rule that you cannot?
Our resources, as far as the amount of resources that will take to run that site, requires our vaccinators, requires Atlanticare's vaccinators. We have asked Shore Memorial Hospital to help. We have our Medical Reserve Corps to help. To have those members vaccinated, that's where our resources. We wouldn't have that resource to operate something separately. But in the future, but as things like loosen up, that's not something that is not without consideration. It's just at this point right now, this is where we are.
But with the state site, there's no way to put any kind of priority on an Atlantic County resident.
No, it's the same as Gloucester can't. It's the same as Burlington can't. Middlesex, just can't. No.
Is there any way they can, maybe open up the enrollment period or the internet maybe a half hour early for Atlantic County residents, and then everyone else? There's no way to make any kind of priority for our residents before the rest of the state, because people are driving hours to come down to the convention center. And as you know, soon as there's a enrollment period that's online, it's bogged down within minutes.
Right, and I agree, yeah. But I'll tell you, I was actually pleasantly surprised when I went on. You can do this yourself. Go onto the New Jersey COVID dashboard and look at the number of our residents that have received doses. And when you're comparing to, more populated counties, and this is taking into consideration their population, we fare pretty well. So as they are coming out of the county to get to our site, we must be also, our residents are going out of our county to get vaccinated as well.
Well, exactly. If you're talking about that, over 20,000 in our county have been vaccinated.
That's first doses.
First doses.
Right.
And how many of that 20,000 were actually done within this county?
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure. It's just that doesn't give you that number. It just gives you the number of county residents that have received vaccinations. So if you add 1 and 2, it's close to 25,000. If you go on Ocean counties, and they've got almost 3 times the population, they're about 50,000. So correct. It's like, and they've got an elderly population, more elderly than compared to ours. So it was kind of like we were faring pretty well comparatively. And we will continue to advocate for more vaccine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. If there's no other commissioners' questions or remarks, I believe we have some from the public. Madam Clerk?
Yes, we do. We're going to raise Melanie Brzezowski, hope I pronounced your name correctly, from an attendee to a panelist. Ms. Brzezowski, you may speak now. Hello?
I don't.
Hi.
Oh, there she is.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. I just wanted to address the board with some concerns about the resolution that was tabled in January concerning the disavowing of the violent attack on the Capitol. So as members of the Board of Commissioners, I am sure that there are many difficult decisions that you must make. However, disavowing violent attacks on the Capitol that left 5 dead is not one of them. In fact, I can't think of a single reason why this board would choose to table Commissioner Fitzpatrick's resolution. if to give a not so discreet wink and nod to those who attacked our democracy. So please choose the people of Atlantic County over the hate groups that inspired this attack. We are watching and we will hold you accountable. If you find it difficult to denounce hate groups and white supremacy, please reevaluate who your constituents are. The people of Atlantic County do not support insurrectionists, and as our representatives, we expect you to denounce them on our behalf. If you value the feelings of the far right that perpetuates violence and lies over the truth that our democracy hinges on, then you do not deserve the leadership positions given to you by the people of Atlantic County. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brzezowski. I'm going to remind everybody when we do the comments, we will have an open public session, but when we're doing this, this is specifically being geared towards the public health right now with our public health officer, Pat Diamond. So do we have anybody else who would like to ask Pat any questions?
Yes, we're going to raise Mr. Creed Pogue to a panelist. Mr. Pogue, you can speak now. Wait a minute.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Oh.
Hopefully I got that right.
You did.
So I guess Pat kind of answered. Thank you, Pat, also for coming and being available. And I had questions about, I mean, obviously a number of us have older parents and we are, in essence, their tech support in this modern era. And there's a degree of frustration, as I'm sure Commissioner Gatto and Commissioner Fitzpatrick and others have expressed about the pace. And while I was listening, I was also multitasking and looking at ShopRite. They're not ready. South Jersey's family is not taking more appointments. Atlanticare does appear to have taken Commissioner Gatto's suggestion of putting us all in a queue. Of course, I think I was 16,000 or so for 100 that are available. So that's probably going to be a long way, since then I'd have to get my folks there. Is there, and therefore, Pat, I don't want to put you in the position of political stuff, but obviously the governmental part and the political all go together. If there's things that the federal government can do that perhaps the board in its advocacy capacity could recommend, what would be the top of that list?
I would say to continue to advocate for more vaccines from these manufacturers. That's really, I mean, that's the whole critical part of this. You know, who rises to the top as far as who should get vaccine first? You know, sure, you want your parents vaccinated. You want those people that are suffering from underlying conditions that you know have a tough time getting over this. But I would say just to advocate for more funding to get more vaccine. The thing is that you have to remember, this is a huge undertaking and an unusual undertaking, because this is just not your regular soup to nuts vaccinations. It's a second dose, it's social distancing, but we do have tools that work, that we know work. And they are, you know, the social distancing, the masking to avoid indoor gatherings. And I hate to keep being on a soapbox for that, but it's got us through this far. We just need to continue to be reminded to do that, to stay healthy. And, you know, we will get vaccine, we will get vaccinated. And if we do become ill with this and we have these underlying conditions, that you need to make that connection with your healthcare provider early, so they are in tune with how you're doing. And if you need to get into the emergency room or you need to be hospitalized, that's really the most important thing. But that's, if you're asking me what to advocate for, is to advocate for that.
Okay, yeah, because see, my dad's 90, so he's definitely in target, group for that. So I'm a little
Right.
freaked out each day on that one. So
Right, and you can do your part. You're trying to protect him for getting a vaccine, and what you need to do is to protect him to make sure that he's following those guidelines as much as possible, and is reminded to do that.
and I don't want to step on the third rail, and since I'm not sitting at the board, I guess I can say something unpolitic. Where do you see us being with late spring and early summer rentals at this point? Because it's not likely that we're going to have anything approaching, pick your number, 60%, 70%, 80% for herd immunity by Memorial Day. Is that something that should be looked at at a minimum, encouraging municipalities to cut back on those, or, because otherwise we're bringing we all want to have the tourism, but we don't want the cases. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Pogue. Do we have
No.
anybody else in reference to Pat Diamond and the Department of Health here? Any public wanted to say anything?
We have Lisa March, who has her hand raised. Okay, she took her hand down. And that's all we have for now, Madam Chair. Just as you just stated, and just as a reminder to the public, that you should type the word yes in the question and answer box if you want to speak. And it might be even beneficial to type yes and the number resolution that you want to speak on until we get to the public portion, which you can speak on any issue.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, thank you so much, Pat. Once again, we thank you and your staff. You're putting in a lot of hours. I toured the facilities this week. I know Commissioner Corsi was there as well, and very impressed with everything that's going on there. So thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Stay healthy.
Thank you, Pat, you as well. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to move resolution number 76 to the top of the agenda. And this is with a recommendation of the County Treasurer, Linda.
Yeah, I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Okay, now resolution 76.
Temporary fiscal year 2021 capital budget.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Do I have any comments from the commissioners on this resolution?
Chairwoman,
Yes.
just a comment. Bonnie will, through you to Bonnie, if you're okay with it, will explain to you why we needed to move this particular item up and handle this first as it relates to then our bond. Our capital ordinance that's later on the agenda. There's kind of an order of operations that has to occur, but I'm sure she can explain it in a much more eloquent way than I can, as she did to the budget subcommittee yesterday morning. So if you'd be so kind, allow her to explain that. Thank you.
Hello, Bonnie.
Hi. So yes, Amy or Commissioner Gatto actually did exactly say what I needed to say, and that the resolution is specifically designed to set up so that there's a vote on the temporary capital budget so that you can move forward with voting on the bond ordinance and the capital ordinance that follows this. And the only reason, normally the capital budget is adopted, introduced and adopted as part of the current budget process, for which this year we plan on introducing the budget February 16th. However, the bond ordinance includes a match requirement for the state library grant that we received in 2020, which required a capital match. And the deadline for that adopted ordinance is March 1st. So I felt it important to do the temporary capital budget at this meeting so that we can do the 2 readings of the bond ordinance that we need in order to have the sufficient documentation for the library grant match, which is $322,090.
Thank you, Bonnie. Do I have any questions or comments from any of the commissioners? No? Seeing none, do we have any from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Force,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yeah.
Bisley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to our ordinances. We have a bond ordinance number 1.
Bond orders providing for various 2021 capital improvements by and in the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey appropriating $16,396,090, therefore, including a grant or grants received or expected to be received from the New Jersey State Library Construction Bond Act program, and authorizing the issuance of $15,286,000 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof. First reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. This is the first reading, so we don't have any comments from the public. We'll go to the roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, that brings us to another, do we have another capital ordinance? No, we went through that.
The first one was a bond, and then now we have capital.
Okay, so we have the capital ordinance number 1.
Capital orders providing for various capital improvements, equipment, and furnishings in and for the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, and appropriating $3,133,243 from the Capital Improvement Fund and/or the Capital Surplus Fund to pay for the cost thereof. First reading.
So moved.
Motion. Second.
Motion made and second. Again, this is a first reading, so we'll go to the roll call.
Madam Chair, before you do the roll call,
Yes, Commissioner.
I think that I think Commissioner Gatto said it clear. Most of these items that's on the agenda was discussed in yesterday's Budget Committee meeting.
Correct.
And if in fact any other commissioners may have comments, could notify or the chairwoman or look at the minutes. But for the general public, all these items were discussed in the Budget Committee.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that. Were there any other comments? Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That takes us to our resolutions and grants for this evening. We have resolution number 57.
Grant application to the New Jersey Transit Corporation for fiscal year 2017 Federal Transit Act, Section 5310, grant funding, amount not to exceed $125,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments or questions? Seeing none, do we have anything from the public?
No comments from the public.
All right, thank you. Roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 58.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development for the New Jersey Youth Corps program, amount not to exceed $98,684.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino. I'm sorry, Commissioner
Yes.
Bertino. Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution number 59.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Health to reimburse cost of state mandated COVID-19 tests for Meadowview staff, amount not to exceed $59,149.04.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution number 60.
Grant application and acceptance from the United States Department of the Treasury for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, amount not to exceed $7,868,230.90.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner.
Yes, could Jerry explain how this will work? We've had a few people call me and ask reference to rental assistance, and it just happened to appear on our agenda today, so it'd be interesting to hear how this will work and how people can apply.
Yeah, so would the budget committee like to, you guys have a lot of questions for John. I mean, I'll go through it if you like, but if you want to go through it, you guys had a lot of questions yesterday.
Yeah, so, Commissioner Ballard, Jerry, maybe you can take the application process would essentially be administered through the ACIA through some of our existing rental assistance type programs. And I believe and Jerry, I'm not remembering, but there was a number of criteria for people to qualify for it, and then ACIA would administer the payment of that rental assistance either directly to the landlord themselves, or if another way needed to be managed, they would work through that. And if any of my fellow budget commissioners want to help jog my memory, yesterday morning actually seems very far away. So. Or Jerry, if you want to, you're on mute.
It goes to households with individuals that are unemployment.
That's right.
Or individuals that have an average 80% of the average median income, and then, or they've lost income due to COVID-19. They have to be able to prove that. One of the questions that the commissioners from the budget subcommittee asked, will it go directly to the landlord? And that's been an issue, and that John and his staff and ACIA have worked on. This allows, if the landlord, for whatever the reason, elects not to accept the money directly, this money can go directly to the person who is doing the renting. And, you can't force them to give the money to the landlord, but typically you can give it to the renter, although John, this particular program recommends strongly that you give it to the landlord. So those are the key criteria.
So Jerry, isn't where the landlord can get the process going? Because right now with the eviction moratorium, they're paying or less whether they can or apply for something like this.
You keep going in and out, but yes, the landlord can request that their renters apply. They can do that, and it's really the person to be eligible. I'm not sure that a landlord would know if they ask that information on my application to get a place to live. They wouldn't know whether I'm on unemployment. They probably wouldn't know what my income is. Typically, they would know is 80% of the average median income, and they won't know whether or not I've lost income due to COVID-19 unless they're talking to me regularly. So it's really the renter themselves that has to make the application. The landlord, as you know, there are funds at the state level as well that renters and landlords can apply directly as well. So they can call, the landlord could call John, which they do anyway, and ask John, are there funds available for landlords? And there are. there are other funding. And I believe if I understand this correctly, the ACIA used the CDBG funding that we have for two programs, small business loans and also for renters. So I think there's several ways that landlords, if they're having difficulty, they could call Johnny from the ACIA. I keep saying John, Mr. Lamy from the ACIA, and get that information directly from John about a landlord assistance that they can get themselves.
Perfect. Yeah, great information. I'll be able to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions for the commissioners? Seeing none, anybody from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 61, please.
Grant application and acceptance from the State of New Jersey Office of the Attorney General, Department of Law and Public Safety Juvenile Justice Commission for State Community Partnership and Family Court grants, amount not to exceed $519,939.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, is there any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 62.
Continuation grant from the New Jersey Department of Children and Families, Division of Children's System of Care, from the Social Service Block Grant Program, amount not to exceed $59,738.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, do we have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 63.
Amending Resolution Number 455, adopted September 25th, 2018, grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development for the program year 2018 Smart Steps Program, funded amount $1,605, net decrease $1,605.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Motion carries. Resolution 64.
Amending Resolution Number 322, adopted July 21st, 2020, grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development for the program year 2020 Workforce Learning Link Program, $18,000, funded amount, net increase, $33,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments or questions? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Rutino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 65, please.
Amending Resolution Number 96, adopted March 3rd, 2020, grant funding from the State of New Jersey, Office of Emergency Management through the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program to extend term date only, no additional amount.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yeah.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 66.
Professional services agreement with various firms to establish the 2021-2022 appraisal services pool for the provision of appraisal services for various county land acquisition projects amount not to exceed $150,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 67, please.
Competitive contract with Jewish Family Services to provide a trauma-informed emotion regulation group support program. Amount not to exceed $64,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 68.
Competitive contract with Jewish Family Services to provide heads case management services. Amount not to exceed $141,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any comments or questions from our commissioners? Seeing none. It looked like Ernest was falling off his chair there. So. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
I'm reserving my time because it's going to be a long meeting.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 69.
Bid contract with Oliver Packaging and Equipment Company to furnish and deliver a meal packaging system to Atlantic County. Amount not to exceed $37,960.33.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments or questions? Seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 70.
Bid contract with Arrowhack Paving Company Incorporated for the resurfacing of Tilton Road, County Route 563, and Washington Avenue, County Route 608, in Egg Harbor Township. Amount not to exceed $1,319,000.
So moved.
Motion been made second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners?
Yes, Chairwoman.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. I just want to put on the record for any of our constituents from Northfield who may be listening, who have been contacting me and hopefully us about sinkholes on Tilton Road, but not this section of Tilton Road, closer to Route 9 near Bob's Seafood. That is a city project that will be started in the spring. Even though Tilton Road's a county road, this is a city project, city's responsibility, and they'll be taking care of it starting in the spring.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Risley?
Thank you. Yeah, I've been receiving the same calls, Commissioner Fitzpatrick, as well. My question is,
what is the length of road here we're paving? The length.
It'll be from where Washington Avenue ends, Stone Road begins, all the way to the circle at, the airport circle.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm just wondering how long that was. From the strip.
John's on. John,
I don't have that length. Mark, do you have that length in your head?
No, I don't. I don't have that with me either. We can certainly find it out.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do I have any other comments or questions from the commission?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner?
Yes, so for, I guess, John, this isn't just resurfacing. They are doing curbing and some drainage. I think we talked about this before in this project.
Yes, that's correct. They're milling and overlay, but there's also some drainage work and tying things in. And I can't tell you exactly where, but there's definitely some pipe work and concrete work included with this.
And when are they looking to start the concrete and stuff like that over the winter and then do the milling and paving in the spring, or are they going to wait until the spring to start?
Know that, and I'm going to yield again to Mark Shores, the county engineer. Do you know, Mark, if they're going to start anything prior to spring?
No, the only thing we'll do is we'll get the submittals in place. We'll get everything in order. We'll look at and review the traffic control plans, all those things that we need prior to a kickoff meeting. We will have the pre-construction meeting, and then as early as we can in the spring, we will start that work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other commissioner questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Rutino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 71, please.
Lease agreement with the South Jersey Transportation Authority to lease a portion of the authority's property located at New York Avenue Parking Garage, Atlantic City, amount not to exceed $209,250 for a 3-year period.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners or questions? Okay, seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Rutino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 72.
Contract with Maldonado Britt and Associates Limited Liability Partnership for the provision of psychological evaluation and treatment for adolescent sex offenders. Amount not to exceed $15,750.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Rutino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 73.
Renewal alternate method contract with Point Click Care Technologies Incorporated for the furnishing of software modules to Meadowview Nursing and Rehabilitation Center for billing and electronic medical record tasks. Amount not to exceed $71,551.60.
Motion. Second.
Motion's been made in second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Rutino?
Yes.
Corsi? Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 74.
National Cooperative Agreement with RICO for the lease of multi-function copiers for the county mailroom, amount not to exceed $275,405.40 for a 5-year period.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 75, please.
Conveyance of property identified as Block 801, Lot 13 on the tax map of Hamilton Township by the County of Atlantic to the Township of Hamilton in the amount of $1.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners?
Madam-
We have Commissioner Corsi,
I yield to my colleague from the other part of the county.
Commissioner Gatto.
I just wanted to remind the public that the purpose of this is to support some of the work that we're doing around our aviation efforts. And if you recall, we're trying to free up some property around the airport, and therefore we needed some property for wildlife. And through discussions with the Township of Hamilton, we were able to make this work. And so that's what this is.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Corsi.
She did such a good job. That's all I was going to say as well. I thought the public needed to know why we were doing it for $1, and she explained it very well.
Thank you. Any other commissioner comments, questions? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 77, please.
Emergency contract with ServPro for purchasing emergency mold remediation services at Hamilton Library and the Human Services Building in Hamilton, amount not to exceed $41,800.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners or questions? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 78, please.
Bid contract with South State Incorporated for the replacement of Nakotay Creek Bridge, ER 07, Old New York Road, County Route 610, over Nakotay Creek in the city of Port Republic, amount not to exceed $11,824,177.10.
So moved.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments or questions from the commissioners?
Chairman?
Yep.
Yeah, Jerry, I was, looking at the bids that were received for this, I noticed that, the one that we're awarding you is almost just over $2 million away, and there were some very disparate numbers here. This has been a long, challenging process. I just want to make sure that, there aren't going to be any delays or, a ton of change orders coming as we move forward with this.
Well, you got Mark and John on this call. Mark and John can talk about all the delays we've had up to now and all the work it took them to get to the point where they could actually go out to bid. So why don't they go through that with you a little bit so you can understand?
Yeah, and I think my biggest concern is the vast differences in the bids that were received.
Okay. Let me start by saying that we did receive quite a few bids. Those bids, the low bidder, lowest qualified bid, South State, which were we made the resolution request to award it to South State. The majority of or the mean, I guess, of the bids came in at about $14 to $16 million. But the high bid, went all the way up. We had $19 million and $21 million in the top end of the bids. We did, in the bid analysis, we evaluate whether or not somebody is really, or we attempt to evaluate if somebody's really missing something in the bid that would cause a particular problem. Number one, I want to say that South State is a very qualified bidder. South State has worked on many, many bridges. They worked on the Avalon project, Causeway. They were the lead on that. They finished just a year and a half ago the Route 50 bridge between Corbin City and Upper Township. This is a bidder that knows how to do a reconstruction of a bridge, and I'm sure has evaluated where the costs need to be. In our analysis, we look at things like why would Harms, be almost double what South State is. Well, some of it has to do with the proximity of where their yard is, what kind of equipment they have, what their ability to get to the job is, what jobs they are currently doing, to understand what kind of equipment that they're going to need to move to a bridge like this. So in all that evaluation, we not only just look at the numbers in the bid analysis, but we also have a real understanding as to where the bidders. The second lowest bidder was Richard Pearson. Pearson, also a highly qualified bidder. Their numbers were not too far off, but they're busy currently with some other jobs that I didn't see a real problem with anything within the bid analysis. So that's how I would address that, Rich. With regard to delays, we'll over the next couple months, we'll be putting this job in order, having going through the process of getting all the paperwork and all the submittals in place. This bridge, just like the one in Mays Landing, requires a utility bridge to be constructed prior to the demo of the existing bridge. And then the real start date for all of that, when you'll really see work happen, will be right around July 1st. There'll be in-water restrictions associated with that because we have to be in the water for the initial part of the work, and those will not be allowed until July 1st. So that's when we'll really see it happen. The utility bridge will go in, then we'll start the demo of the existing bridge. We're very pleased that this project is getting going. This is a bridge I had to shut down based on some of the inspections. Up until the point when I closed the bridge, we were doing inspections every 3 months. And the inspection that came in that required that I close the bridge down was one that said, we can't keep putting Band-Aids on this bridge any longer. It was a structural issue, and shut the bridge down. So we tried to do everything we could to fast track this. Some real estate issues, real estate acquisitions kind of slowed some things down, and it actually required us to re-permit or extend some permits, which also delayed getting to this place. I'm very pleased to get this bridge underway and see what we need to happen in July of this year.
No, definitely, and I the detailed analysis of everything, Mark. I spoke with a port councilman earlier, just prior to the meeting, and he expressed some frustration, and it's kind of connected, but not really, about notifications about road closures. And I guess the concern moving forward was, and continue to stay in touch with the city of Port Republic when work starts, and as you progress towards July on this. There were some concerns with the electric company shutting down Port Republic and not notifying the town. Apparently, sometimes the state troopers weren't there, and the crew itself is actually pretty rude. Apparently, this is what I'm hearing to some of the residents. So with the bridge down and construction beginning, hopefully very soon, and spring and summer, and with the electric company still doing their work, they just want to make sure that they're updated on any traffic detours and road work in the city that will affect the resident.
Well, communication is a big key factor, and hopefully we've done a good job in Hamilton with regard to the detours associated with that. This particular bridge has been in a shutdown for some time, and so the detour is well in place. I've been in communication and assisting Atlantic Electric through our inspection group and dealing with the state police out in Port Republic as part of what Atlantic City Electric is doing. That's a complicated issue that keeps moving because they're moving from pole to pole. So I can understand the frustration of residents coming to an understanding that this part of a road was closed, and then the following day it's a different section of a different road, and I do understand that. I've had our inspectors run through there, look at the detours, and speak with the police. Sometimes the shutdowns of roads were so short in duration that the police just took it under themselves. They've had days in which up to 13 police officers and vehicles were in Port Republic handling the detours personally to make sure, because they couldn't get the signage in place quick enough. So yes, there's some frustration there. Yes, I understand it. Communication will be key through this project, and hopefully we do a very good job with that. If in your conversations, and I would talk to Jerry about this at some point, but if we want to extend the time to come and talk to the town personally and explain how everything will work out, I'm sure that we can probably work that out. We've done it on other projects.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other commissioner questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, do we have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes, motion carries. At this time, I will entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolution number 79 to 84.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any commissioner comments or questions? Seeing none, do we have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes, with thanks to all for volunteering.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes, motion carries. That concludes the written portion of our agenda. Any reports of special committees of the board?
Madam Chair.
Yes, please.
It's not a special report, but I do want to just correct one comment I made with regard to that parcel in Hamilton Township. I had the wrong property in mind, and it came to me after I made the comments. We did have the exchange of properties with Hamilton Township on the aviation piece. That particular parcel was actually the county exchanging property with the township at the township request to assist with an economic development project. So I just wanted to correct my comments on the record in case anybody wanted to change their vote before the meeting was over.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Do we have any other special committee reports of the board? Okay, seeing none. Any unfinished business? Okay, seeing none. We have received copies of written communication and petitions. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, I think you skipped new business.
Oh, sorry. Any new business?
I do have an item which kind of falls into written communications as well. I did receive a copy of the City of Atlantic City's resolution that was passed last week, requesting that the governor relieve the curfew, the 10 o'clock curfew that's in place currently for Super Bowl Sunday and extend it to midnight on Super Bowl Sunday. And I wanted to propose to my fellow commissioners here, I did ask Sonia to send out some resolutions that I had drafted, but wanted for the board to consider taking some kind of an action, whether it's a resolution or maybe it's just a letter of support of the city's resolution as well to the governor to extend that curfew, not only on Super Bowl Sunday, but given where we are in February here, for consideration of President's Weekend as well, which happens to also be Chinese New Year on February 12th, Valentine's Day on February 14th, and then President's Weekend on February 15th. I think the reason for that is that we know that our small businesses in the county, whether they're in Atlantic City or in the surrounding area, they're already at 25% capacity, and they're going to need that additional time span to accommodate the added capacity that they would typically have, but to be able to serve patrons and really capitalize on some of those, bigger service days that often get them through the winter. So I wanted to kind of put it out to this board to consider, again, whether it's a letter of support of an extension of the curfew on those particular days, or it's a resolution, whatever the board may be interested in doing. I wanted to put it on the table for discussion.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, Commissioner. Mr. Corsi?
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were referring to me. First of all, let me say that Amy brought this up yesterday, and I joked around with her about not supporting it, and it wasn't in the 10, 12-day notification. But Amy raises certainly a good point. I'm not sure, and I would suggest, just my suggestion, maybe we do a letter ASAP and then email it, text it, or whatever we need to do to get it to the governor's office, the governor's chief of staff, or whoever it may concern. Passing the resolution, we probably come out quicker doing a letter supported by perhaps all 8 of the commissioners, urging that to happen sooner rather than later. I think if we can get it up there ASAP, probably helps. That's just my suggestion. I don't know if we need to really do a resolution, but I think the letter is just as effective.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree, Commissioner.
Agreed.
Any other discussion?
I mean, I'd be happy to take the lead if my fellow commissioners are in line with that thought process to kind of take the wording from the Atlantic City resolution and turn that into a letter format and email it around to everybody tomorrow morning for approval and
I think that's a good idea. Just make sure you run it past our legal team, and make sure that dot our I's, cross our T's, because since we're no longer freeloaders and we're commissioners, we want to make sure we're very astute in terms of sending the letter out. Not saying that you can't do it, but I think we should make sure our legal department is involved.
Okay. And is everybody in favor of also including not only Super Bowl Sunday, but those President's Weekend dates as well?
Yes.
Yep, go for it all.
It appears to me that everybody is, so I'm going to ask, is anybody opposed?
No, Madam Chair, I just have one comment.
Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah, I mean, I would also like to include, really he moves that ban from 10 to 12 anyway, because as you know, the casinos, they will not even seat after 8:30, even though it's a 10 o'clock ban or a 10 o'clock closing, because they have to have the person served and out of the restaurant by 10 o'clock. So at least they could still have a seating up till 10 o'clock or 10:30 and have them out by 12. It's killing the casino industry, the restaurant businesses and the casinos, because like I said, they will not take a reservation after or seat somebody after 8:30 at night.
Correct.
Yeah.
And a lot of the restaurants are in the same boat. They stop serving, they stop whatever, around that time, if not like a little, sooner.
Right, and I don't think he took that into consideration when they made that executive order, thinking that, okay, we can get people out, but it takes time to get someone seated, get them served and everything else, so, if we just put that suggestion in there, of course, with everything else that Amy is proposing.
Well,
Yep.
Commissioner Ballas, if I may, it's funny you would raise that issue because I know clearly the Casino Association with their lobbyists had gone back and forth with the front office regarding that time at 10 p.m. And they were, basically pleading and begging that it be a little bit longer and to no avail. Unfortunately, I think in the coming weeks, we're going to see a whole lot of stuff being lifted, or at least numbers going up. For example, was it 25 people outside gathering? I think that's going to be, they're looking at that again. But it doesn't hurt to try to ask again. But I do know that the lobbyists in Trenton for the Casino Association have tried every single thing they could to get them to move that needle, and it has not happened yet. But something has to give. It is amazing that the casino is still even open. If you walk through there, man, it's a ghost town. I don't give a rat's tail if it's day or night, except on Fridays and Saturdays. Maybe they need to go back to 10, closing 6 in the morning, open at 10. I don't know how they stay open 24 hours with nobody in the properties. But that's hurting everybody, the whole entire industry. Mom and pop restaurants, etc., are feeling the same thing. Is this our second year without the League of Municipalities and the Teachers Convention, or is this the first year?
First year.
First year. And they have not recovered. Nobody's recovered from any of it. Well, let's see what we get. Put it out there again. And again, 8 commissioners are urging them to do it. But we're not the only ones, and maybe we get lucky.
Thank you, Commissioner Corsi. So Commissioner Gatto, appears you do have full support of the board, and you'll send around your draft.
Yeah, I'll have it to you in the morning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very much. Okay. Now that Dal does copies of written communication and petitions, any commissioner comments? Have any? Seeing none. We'll open now to the public comments portion. Anyone that would like to speak, please type yes in the question box and we'll raise you. So you can speak. Do we have? We'll give them a couple minutes.
We'll give them a few minutes.
Madam Chair, while we're waiting on that, I failed to mention it in the beginning of the meeting, and Sonia, please help me out. And when we did memories of people who passed away, we had Atlantic County K-9 Sheriff Officer Ron, and I can't pronounce Ron's last name, who was retired, who passed away the other day, and maybe Sonia can give me his last name, but I can't remember. I'm sorry?
DeMullen.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, you a former sheriff. Yeah, we certainly want to keep his family in prayers and our thoughts. He was a hell of a sheriff officer and a good K-9 officer.
Agreed.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I just would like to comment too that I want to commend the Hard Rock Casino for doing what they're doing with the bonuses to their employees. It's they should be very much commended for doing that. It couldn't have come at a better time than it's coming right now. And I also want to mention, you mentioned about the passing of different people that we all know and love. I was particularly struck by, former freeholder Joe McDevitt, who I served with. And he was too young, 53. It's a terrible, terrible tragedy. Just like to urge everyone to please be careful. Mask up, keep your distance, wash your hands thoroughly. We all know the things to do, but just we got to be very careful. We don't want to lose any more people.
Thank you, Commissioner. I do believe we have a couple of people that would like to speak.
Yes, we do. The first is Jelani Gandy, who's being lifted to a panelist.
Hi, my name is Jelani Gandy. I'm from Linwood. I wanted to ask the board what the conclusion of the resolution that was made to condemn the Capitol rioters, similar to what the New Jersey Senate had done, was.
That resolution was tabled.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We have, as we return Mr. Jelani to an attendee, we have Miss March on, I believe, Lisa March. Okay. Just give us a moment. We're raising her to a panelist.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you taking my comment. Two things. I'm going to be your poster child for the over 65-year-olds is trying to get a COVID vaccination appointment, okay? I'll be back because all those things you said, I've tried to no avail. Phone calls, scheduling, tried to schedule out until May. Any appointment, just give me any appointment you want. Nada, nothing. But I'll be back because I am going to try again based on what you said today. And I do appreciate the information that I got. And while I have your ear for just a moment, I will also join my other panelists or public attendees who are asking you to please carefully examine the question as to whether or not we expect a president and and Congress people to be responsible to the Constitution of the United States. We need to be aware that our voices, though we are way down here in South Jersey, reverberate. So I would like to lend my voice to that also. And I thank you for your call on me.
Thank you, Ms. March. Thank you for being here as well. Do we have any other comments from the public?
It doesn't appear that we do. We'll just give it a couple of moments. No, we have no other comments from the public.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
No, Madam Chair.
Here.
Not that. Not that.
Any
quick.
comments? Good of the order.
Not that quick. Not that quick. You was ready. Madam Chair, let me suggest to this board that, and certainly I spoke to the sponsor of it, I was always under the impression that if a resolution was tabled, it would come back at the next meeting. But I was taking the school today in terms of no until it is asked to be put back on the agenda. So perhaps at the next meeting, I'm recommending to the sponsor of that resolution that was tabled, bring back to the board, whether they voted up or down. Do not leave it out there in la-la land. And if there's any of my commissioners' colleagues who want to make or suggest any changes to it, that would be fine to do it. But I think we need to bring it back to full circle, voted up or voted down. But I would certainly urge my colleagues, if you have a suggestion or recommendation, let's put it out there now, not right this minute, but between now and the next meeting, and let's get that resolution up or down. If not, I can guarantee you that I will start the next couple meetings and we'll be there forever on a resolution that takes 2 minutes to either vote up or down. Now, I did make a comment that I was going to pack the meeting today, but I will not mention my colleague's name, but I did talk to a couple of them. And you certainly raised some concerns in terms of not a real big issue, but some suggestions you'd like to make or add or delete. So if you'd like to do that between now and the next meeting, we ask that you, at least I ask that you talk to the sponsor of that resolution, and let's move forward on it. We still must condemn the racism and bigotry that happened in Washington. If some of you have problems with the 25th Amendment, let's talk about that. Or if there's some other concerns in there you'd like to, now let's be man and woman about this, and let's not take a back seat, because in my heart, I believe, and I'm stretching this somewhat, but I believe in my heart that y'all do not condone that. But don't prove me to be wrong. And so I think that would be the right thing to do. The other thing is that I wanted to just mention real quickly is Commissioner Risley brought up the point regarding the Hard Rock Casino. And I would agree with him 100%. And perhaps we have our attorney next meeting put up a resolution, or we send them something congratulating them, because as you said, they have put their money where their mouth is. And we all know this pandemic has hit every one of us, whether you in the casino or anywhere else. It has taken its toll, but they are still holding on to the front line, letting their employees know how much they appreciate them. And so this, I believe, the second or third time they have done something similar to this for their employees. I wish the other ones would follow, but the fact of the matter is that they've done it, and we need to, as a commissioner board, we need to let them know by way of resolution or whatever that we appreciate it, because all of those folks are our constituents in Atlantic County, even outside the county. So I certainly urge our attorney to prepare, and I'll sponsor it. We can do it, all commissioners. We can do however you want to do it. But I think we should make it happen and in quick, fast order. The other thing is that I just wanted to say that when we talk about Joe McDevitt, I never forget when I got on the board, Joe said, listen, he said, you're going to win some battles and you're going to lose some. He said, I've lost some too. And we laughed and joked about it. And one thing about Joe, we could agree to disagree, but as Commissioner Risley's indicated, 53 years old. I just saw him a few weeks prior to, and always involved in Star of the Sea and Holy Spirit football team, etc. And certainly our prayers and thoughts go out to the family. He will, a matter of fact, I think it would be appropriate that this board send some type of letter or proclamation to the family. Certainly we know they gave him one in his years of service, but you always can remember your colleagues. Once a freeholder, well, that's former now, and commissioners always one. And I think that would just be the most appropriate thing, or the least thing we could do. And so those are my suggestions and recommendations for the evening. I was prepared to keep you for probably another hour or so, but because my lower back is hurting, I will give Commissioner Ballas a break today. And Jerry, I'll take it up with him later. But that's all my comments for the evening.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anything else for the good of the order?
Chairwoman.
Ms. Patrick?
Thank you. Yes, so I will officially request that the resolution we were talking about be placed on our agenda for February 16th. And any commissioners who wish to, since we can't all speak to each other, any commissioners who wish to make any changes or comments, send them to our clerk, Ms. Harris, who can then distribute them to us. And I'll, we'll look at them and see if there are changes we want to make to the resolution before the meeting. Does that work? Thank you.
Works for me, Madam Chair, if I may. I'm a little, you puzzled me. When you say you can't speak to, who can't you speak to?
Well, we can't all speak to each other at once because it's an open public meetings issue.
Oh, well, we're discussing it in today's meeting. However, they can pick up the phone as individuals.
Exactly.
You can't have a quorum to declare some esoteric and mundane and earth-centered and some deranged backdoor meetings. But yes, I think you can pick up the phone, any of us, and talk to one another, because you can rest assured most of them on this call does that.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else for the good of the order?
Madam Chair. Oh,
I got Commissioner Gatto.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to echo the sentiments with regard to former freeholder Joe McDevitt. I'm not sure if the public is aware that I believe for a majority of his term, or all of it, freeholder McDevitt donated his paycheck to charitable organizations every week or every month. He was he had a huge heart and he took his public service very seriously. And we were lucky to have him for the short time that we did. And I do agree with Commissioner Corsi to do a proclamation similar to what we did for former Mayor Chuck Chiarillo. I think we need to do that for Commissioner McDevitt as well as for Mayor Brown, who also passed from Mullica, another extremely dedicated public servant, just gave so much of his time and energy, and man, just a lot of wisdom gone too fast. And I also just wanted to thank you, Chairwoman, for also mentioning Wally Kenzig. Our meeting was too late last meeting, but I do just want to honor his memory for a moment, if the commissioners will indulge me. Wally Kenzig was 100 years old at the time of his passing. He passed peacefully, and he was a United States Marine who served at Iwo Jima, Korea, and the beginning of the Vietnam War. Upon retirement, he came back to Atlantic County and became the Dean of Student Affairs at Atlantic Cape Community College. And if you walk around in there, you can find the Veterans Computer Lab dedicated to his honor at ACCC in an effort to keep his legacy alive. And then when he was completed with that mission, he proceeded to open Kenzig Tree Farm on Cologne Avenue, which I know many generations have gone to pick up their Christmas tree, their poinsettias, their geraniums. So he really became a very knowledgeable farmer in the area and was just hugely respected for everything that he did from a community perspective and service to our country. And I just felt that after 100 years, he deserved just a few minutes of our time to honor that legacy. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have anything else for the good of the order?
Madam Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner Ballas.
Yeah, so I would just like to commend our public works and all their support staff, mechanics, and so forth and so on. Although we didn't get it as bad as what western part of the state got and the northern part of the state got, our men and women were out many hours brining, salting, plowing, repairing vehicles that go down because of the hard use on the roadways. And I believe our facilities guys, our mechanics and truck drivers did a fantastic job. I had to go up to Deptford and came back the expressway. And I can tell you our county roads were in much better shape than what the expressway was, which is very unusual. So our guys did a phenomenal job. Hopefully everyone did it safely, and just like to commend them for their hard work.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I'll second that motion. Great job.
Do I have anything else for the good of the order? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.